So Hare Krishna. I get this body which is full of miseries. I acquired it in Paris. So it was 3 December 1996. So I grew up in France. I'm from France. And yeah, like everyone else, when we take birth, first thing we do is we cry. Because this world is full of suffering, right? And so in this Kali Yuga, so it's been progressing. So when I came, it was not so bad as today, but still it was already bad. So yeah, and especially in the Western country, those cities, it's very, very, very hellish. Very, very hellish. It's like, I'm born actually as like a robot, right? People, they're born in a hospital, you know? And, you have the little bracelets, right? And then they give you a number or something. And, so here I am. But after, you have to go through all the school, all the conditioning, because this world is all about, controlling people. And that's why Srila Prabhupada did want to save us from, that we just put in a box, right? We just being tortured. So the Western world, where I grew up, is a world of torture. Is where people they get tortured. They get tortured in school. They get tortured at work. Material world is a world of torture. Even if we're pious, even if you Indians are watching, you're pious, you also you are not safe. So I've been to school. We moved to the countryside with my parents when I was 6. I moved to school and yeah, it was not such a very nice experience. So the pressure, the lack of security, the lack of care brings all kinds of problems, especially anxiety and stress in the Western world. We were just listening to a class of His Grace Vijay Prabhu, the Minister of Book Distribution. He said the first sickness in the world is stress, is mental health issues. And that's what I've been experiencing. And so much anxiety, insecurity, addictions, depression. So after some point, you still try to keep to go. So I reached university, right? But because there was no purpose in the life and so much suffering, it just stopped, could not continue anymore. And then I went back to live with my parents because I was not able to do something with this burden, right? It's like a problem you cannot solve. That's karma. You cannot overcome your karma. If you have this karma, if your karma is to get destroyed, you'll get destroyed. If your karma is to get something, you'll get something. If your karma is to suffer, you'll suffer. No matter how much you try, in this world to avoid it, to fix it, it's not possible. It's impossible. So I went back, live with my parents, and then it was like I had a kind of existential crisis. So you need to do something. You need to find a purpose. But time was passing by and nothing was coming, right? And I was still addicted to many bad habits and not drugs, but unhealthy behavior, unhealthy food, unhealthy habits. And yeah, just one day I just said myself, okay, I have to start something. So I was thinking, okay, I will go to do some Aikido. The Aikido, it doesn't work so much if you look some videos on internet against UFC fighters, right? But anyway, so I went there And I was looking for something. I was tired with this life. I was like, there's no point. There must be something else. And maybe I was praying, even though I never consider myself a Christian or something. I was praying like, okay, I want to, like, there must be something else. I just, this suffering. There must be something else. Not possible, right? And there, when I went to this club, and I met one person there. He was not a devotee, but he was spiritually inclined. He was more like on the impersonal platform, right? But he had some things, he had some Shakti, and that interested me. And so I met this person several times in his house. He's called, in France, we have, in Europe, we have this concept of people, like kind of shaman, the people who can cure people. They can cure with the energy, like they can stop fire with their hands. They can help people, kind of relieve themselves from a traumatic experience, but just through the energy. I don't really know how it works. I don't think they really know how it works also. This is maybe a speculation, but there is something there, some Shakti. And so I started realizing, there must be something different. There is something above this world. So it gives me a little bit of hope, right? And therefore I start looking for it in different ways. I've been watching some videos, on YouTube, listening some mantras, trying to get in touch with some people who know about it, getting informations. I traveled also a little bit I traveled in Nepal in 2019, and I traveled in Africa in 2020. So it was an experience. And I realized I was looking for myself. I was looking to know myself. Like there's this philosopher who says, Socrates, right? He says, you should know yourself. So that's why we're here. We want to know ourselves. And the ultimate realization is that we are eternal servant of Krishna. So therefore, having done that, I still was not fulfilled. And time passing by, I need to get a job or do something with my life. So I started to do some woofing. Woofing, for those who don't know, it's you travel from farm to farms. It's an international web, connection. And you go from farm to farms, and you just render a service in the farm, and you get food and shelter in exchange. So I started, and very quickly, I arrived in a farm. Maybe some are familiar, it's called New Mayapur, and they were talking about Bhakti Yoga. And I didn't know what was Bhakti Yoga at the time. But at the time also, I was following Sadhguru. So that's interesting because it shows that, Krishna can manifest in many ways. Just like I was reading recently, the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, that the Avadhuta Brahmana, he has many gurus, right? So Krishna can put on our path all kind of people. And Sadhguru, even though for us is not very popular, but he get me interested in yoga and meditation. And when I see Bhakti Yoga on the website, I was thinking, okay, I will go there. I will not go around the world this time. I'll just go nearby because I'm from nearby New Mayapur. I'll just go nearby. I go to this Bhakti Yoga. And so here I am. I arrive in New Mayapur. And when I came to New Mayapur as a volunteer, because I was in search of something higher than material pure shoes, I was thinking something beyond bliss, looking for relief, a breath. No, we're not breathing in this world if you don't have Krishna consciousness. So I was looking for that, and I arrived in New Mayapur, and I felt instantly like I enter like a new world. There's a feeling there's something's different, And when we learn about the philosophy, we understand, it's not these sacred places where devotees live. They are not under the law of karma. As soon as we get in touch with devotees, we enter a new dimension, which is we are being taken care of personally by Krishna. And funny enough, and I want to offer my obeisances to His Holiness Jananda Maharaj, because when I came to New Mayapur, the first person I saw, the first devotee, or I can say dressed in a devotee that I saw was Maharaj. From a distance, I was looking into this person. At the time, I didn't know. I was thinking, who is this person? It looks strange a little bit. So he was looking around, and so that was my first. I'm very grateful for that. My first, I feel very blessed. The first time I posed my eyes on a devotee, it was His Holiness Janananda Maharaj, which has been doing amazing service for France. What I heard from his god brothers is that he turned his France yatra into something more lively today, because it was very, very difficult. So yeah, I was there so I arrived in New Mayapur, and then I came as a volunteer, and I could not go. Krishna called me in New Mayapur because I know where else to go, right? But at least I was thinking, okay, let me give it a try here. There may be something. Let's see. It feels like there is something here. So I continue in this way, and gradually, making friendship with devotees, and making mistakes, making offenses, all the, being in the grinder. And so that's how I joined Krishna consciousness. So my parents, my father is he was working in the plane industry, airplane industry. So he was kind of manager there, like manager, like how we say this, like he was like kind of controlling how is the things going, right? Like at the top. And actually, yeah, so my father, he earned good, like decent, it was like comfortable in terms of finance. And one interesting is that then we realized that, it made me realize that, I'm just going a little bit, but that's the important point. That, money don't make people happy. Even if you have money, what's going on inside the house, the interactions, family is important. And, what builds people, money don't build people. It doesn't build people. Community builds people. Community in Krishna consciousness especially. But money cannot build someone. People, they need, culture. They need, sane environment, sane dealings. They need sane purity, So the best way to raise children, is just to be a devotee, to chant Hare Krishna. That's the best lifestyle, best hygienic lifestyle. So that was my father, what he was doing. And my mother, she was working, but she stopped to take care of the children. So she tried her best. Maybe it was, in the Western world, it's very crazy and difficult. But after I acknowledge, even it's not easy for a Western woman to stop working. There's so many judgment and everything. So I kind of, congratulate my mother for that. And yes, so that was the situation of my parents. And so when I joined Krishna consciousness, well, my parents, they were because I was not very successful, materially speaking. I was not really, enthusiastic about material life. I was like paralyzed, right? So they were quite, they're quite happy that I joined Krishna consciousness. At least they get me out of their house, so they're happy now. So that's the reality, So that's my parents. They're happy. We can say even in West, we don't think too much, about, relationships. It's not like India. It's like family is very impersonal there. So they're just like, okay, that's what you want to do, just do it. So I joined New Mayapur, and what happened is currently temple life is not for anyone, right? So it's been very difficult for me in temples. It's how to say, very, you have to fit in the thing. So I've been living in different temples, and then I've been coming to India, and I start thinking that maybe I'm not going to go back in temples like as a like full-time devotee there, because it can be quite intense and not necessarily how to say. One thing I learned, or I start realizing, is we're all different. We're all individuals. There is in Kali Yuga, there's some people, they cannot, Kali Yuga is difficult, right? You cannot fit. Kali Yuga personalities, they are very complex. So yeah. Maybe not, maybe I will not live in a temple anymore. Maybe, I don't know. But, because Prabhu was asking me this question, which temple I'm living in. But, well, I'm not saying people should not live in temple. It's very good if you can. But, everyone should visit temple for sure. For sure. But Krishna is, where the devotees are. So, if we're in an association of devotees, that's the most important. Temples are very important. Temple, it's there we can find devotees and we can serve the deities. So temples, I say, where I live, New Mayapur, Radha Parisishvar. I visited other temples also like Soho, Wales, Manor, and here in India, Mayapur, like that. So done a little bit of traveling. And traveling Sankirtan, actually, it's also temple life. It's carrying the books with you. Before coming to India, I've been to Nepal already. So I kind of knew a little bit what it can look like. Before coming to India, I was more interested into knowing, the devotional side of India. I mean, there's a material side to India, devotional side. So I already knew that sometimes it's dirty in the streets. I mean, what to do? But so that's reality, right? It's like, but that's everywhere. It's not just because in the other countries they put everything in the ocean. So I'm going away a little bit. But now that I've been to India and seen the temples there, I can say one thing that I really appreciate is that Indians, they are very, very much more stable than Westerners. And they can build something. Here, the temples, they can build communities more easily. So especially here in ISKCON Salem, to see that they are aiming at something traditional, like respect to elders, training of juniors, and to see the people there. Here it's inspiring. So one thing I learned in India is it kind of gave an impression, right? It kind some things rub. Just by associating with people, you kind of develop some understanding without even trying to. So, yeah, one thing in India which is good is the culture is still alive enough so people they are not so far away. The Indians, they may have forgotten, or they may be toward Western life, but if you just if they change direction, they won't have so much. They can do it. in a more stable way. So that's what I saw in India. And yeah, people in India, they are more pious. They are more piety. So it's also, you know, you don't see much crazy people. Or is it much in the cities? There must be a lot of stress in India, but globally, I think people, they have less stress. They have less mental problems than in the West. So that's what I saw much more in India. And also the weather is much better in India. It's much more it's more easy to deal with the weather than in the West. And the soil also, you have a good soil. You can grow things. You have nice fruits, Prabhupada said. In India, India, it's a land of piety. They have fruits, you know, like banana. Prabhupada said it's a tree from heavenly planets, right? And you have all the nice fruits. And in Europe, it's like every tree is like just something you cannot eat, you know. But here you have many things. You have mangoes. But pineapple is not really a tree. I don't know if it's a tree. I don't know how it grows. So mango, pomegranate, all jackfruits, all kind of nice things you have. And Prabhupada said also one funny things. He said that in the West, you know, we have apples. And Prabhupada says, one friend told me one day, Prabhupada said, apples is the mercy of Krishna for the Westerners. There are some little mercy and then we give them some apples, you know. Because there is like, natural life is much more difficult. And also, India it's advancing. The technology is, you know, the Indians are very good, you know, they all get amazing diplomas and everything. That's also one good thing about Indians, is that they are being raised to, you know, in the not hard way, but you know, they are encouraged to do something, you know. They are raised with responsibility. That's also very nice. So I was saying, so India is developing in terms of technology and everything, but still it's very much grounded into reality, you know. Not like in the West is much more, people are much more disconnected from reality. It's much more, you know, they're living in their mind. This crazy world. Hare Krishna.